Okay, this is another eBay pack, 7.5 amp hour, 2020. Now this pack has been doing all kind of funny stuff. When I first got it, it came up green, worked on the charger, the voltage was high, but when you put it on a tool, it would run for a little while, and then it would start blinking red. You get the blinking red light, and now it doesn't charge anymore. Before it would charge with no issues, but now it's got this. That is reading 51 volts. 51 divided by 14.
It's approximately 3.6428.
Okay, so that shouldn't be too low. But we're going to take it apart. I'm looking in here to see if these screws look like they've ever been taken out. And they don't. .6. On tonight's episode of Fix It or Smoke It, I hope we're fixing this one and not making it smoke. We got a 7.5 amp hour Ego battery. When I first got it, it plugged into the charger, worked fine. It had voltage at the output terminals. It ran my blower just fine for a while. Then it started flashing the red light. Plugged it back into the charger, charged fine. So I decided to plug it into something and draw some more power out of it. I use just a power adapter that plugs in there, and I can shuffle that electricity around into other batteries. I took it apart. We peeled all the stickum out of it. The first thing we're going to do is check the individual cells. I'm going to clip straight to the negative terminal of the battery. Ooh, if I can get in there. Well, that ain't gonna work. There's a test point for each cell group. There are 14 cell groups. We got the test lead connected to the main negative of the battery. We're gonna look for the test point B1, which is battery 1, and 3.8. B2 should be twice that. 7.7. Okay, that sounds about right. 7 plus 3.8. So anyway, somebody else do the damn math. 11.6. So the next one should be 14, 15 and something. So B4, 15. The next one should be like 19 volts. Ooh, that's not good. All right, let's check B6. That was 17, 21. B7. We're gonna do this a different way. Alright, so I'm gonna try to stay out of the damn camera, but B1 to B2, 3.8, B2 to B3, 3.8, B3 to B4, 3.8, B4 to B5, 2.3. Well, right there's your problem. Okay, B6, 3.8, B7, 3.8. So we're looking for B8, 3.8. Alright, I ain't got to count all that out, but I'm going to go through and check them all. What I'm going to do is try to charge up battery 5 first. And I'm going to try to do that in situ. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go straight to the cells and clip on right there. So now we are looking for cell group 5. Cell group 1, I guess I ought to take the whole thing out of here and I can see it all. Alright, that's not going to be as easy. Ooh, there we go. I love gravity. We're going to have to look at some stuff. We're going to have to take some of this apart anyway at some point. You know what? I'm going to have to pull this whole thing apart. So, I think that's what I'm about to do. And so the first thing I'm going to do is desolder the main positive and negative. I'm going to insulate that. Come on, baby. You know you want to cut loose. That stuff's hot. Let's see if we can't do a little better getting this one out. I should have left that big tip on there. Alright, this should work a little better. Oh yeah, that worked a treat. Let's see if we can't suck the goodie out of it. Alright. I have to discover the magic of separating these. Maybe it's all in the glue. You know what? How about a little bit of leverage? Let's try a small wooden rod. I'm going to try a bigger wooden rod. Maybe I gotta physically get in there and pick that stickum out. So, I'm going to try to be gentle. I don't know if there's a connector under that or if these are just big balls of glue. I still don't feel like I have the right tool for this job. Let's try the big wood on it again. Yeah, I don't want to pull any wires loose. Oh, you know what? Damn, that's not the right tool either. Alright, the idea is to loosen up this white shit without damaging any electrical connections. We'll be very careful, I promise. Okay, so now to separate out those little tiny wires without breaking any. This is going to be a ta-da moment. Alright, I think that's going to have to be cut loose. Oh, oh, no, there we go. Alright, so it looks like there's a green one on the far side. Is the next one that has to be freed up. Okay, this is our next hurdle. Right here. A little more aggressive. But I'm going to stay tight to one side. Ooh. Now we got a little bit of separation anxiety down here. Okay, we got that worked out. Okay. Ta-da! Ooh, there's a little connector that came out of something. And I know not what. There that is. And we're looking for group 5. Alright, we gotta make some more room. Alright, this is turning out to be a little more than I had bargained for, but man, let's all learn together. Alright, I got something to work with here now. Alright, this is the one, 2.492. Alright, now we just gotta connect to it. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to solder a wire right to the back of it. Where's that little thing I made earlier? I'm going to put my other tip back on. Alright, I'm going to double check this and make sure I got the polarity right. So that's the back side of that cell group. Tack this to there real quick so I got something to connect to. I need to get a little bit of fresh juicy lead-based solder on here. Stupid no lead solder. That's stick good enough for what we're going to do. I just soldered a wire right to the other balance lead connection point. It's showing 2.5 volts on the charger. Let's start it up 1S 3.8. So that would be a storage charge. Let's go down to that's 3 cells. Half an amp will be still light. I ain't going to time lapse this, but I'm going to let that charge up to 3.8. And I'm reading it over here. So I'm going to let it go up a little bit more and then turn it off to see what it drops to until I get what I want. Alright, so we're fine tuning the voltage here. Alright, so maybe I'll let it come up to about 4 volts and see what it drops to. So I charged that cell group up last night. Its resting voltage is 3.87, so 1/100 of a volt higher than the other groups. But I'm going to temporarily plug it back in, see what happens. The first thing I got to do is plug this little tiny 2-pin connector back in. Okay, this is a tricky little part here. Okay. That is seated. This is some finicky stuff. Now, first thing I want to do is see if all of the voltages are making it to the test points. Let's start out with B1. 388. I'm going to connect this onto the board. Let's hope we don't make no smoke. Alright, at this point I should also be able to get a light on the front of the BMS. Alright, let's see what happens up here. Alright, I got green up here again. I'm going to find me some spooge to stick back in between these cells and reassemble them. Let's take these back out. Now I'm pretty sure I've got some silicone around there, and I'm going to put it in all the proper spots, and I'll stick this back together. Alright, so we got the charger in here, and you know what, let me just go ahead and put these screws in while I got it apart. I forgot to hit record when I reassembled this pack, but don't worry, there will be more. Alright, we're going to see what happens. Alright, first relay click. Second fan come on, I guess that's going into high current charge. I'm going to let this go till it fully charges, and after the sun comes up I'm going to take this thing out and cycle it a couple times on a leaf blower and stress test it. Then I'm going to go back in and measure that cell again to make sure it's staying in line with the others. And if it's not, those 3 cells are going to have to come out. And I'll get back to you later when we take this thing apart and check those cells. And what I think I ought to do is check them completely dead and check them again after it charges up and sets for a few days. Okay, so this battery has been cycled and recharged 3 times. Right now it's discharged, and I'm going to check the bottom balance of these cells. And I'm going to check B5 first, because that's the one we had a problem with. I'm going to try not to get in you guys' way, but test point B5 and B4 and 3.1. Okay, that was the only one we had a problem with, but let's start at the bottom now. 3.1. 3.1. 3.1. We already tested this one. 3.1. 3.1. 3.1. Let's jump across to the back side. Doesn't give me the last one because that doesn't have the center pin plugged up, and it pulls the last cell from that. I'm going to charge it up now, and we'll see how they look for balance with a full charge on it. This video has gotten long, and I need to get this project off of the bench. But all the cells tested out fine. Cell 5 does come out a few hundredths lower, so it's something to look at. But overall, it's running well, it charges well. So I'm gluing it back up and calling it done. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And I got a whole lot more ego stuff coming up. So if you like that, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you know when those videos come out. Thanks for watching.